Peace, blessings, and love to all. My name is Takia Geddes, and I'm here repping the I Am Power chat duo today. And we come together every week, 6:30-ish p.m. Eastern Time, to talk about real life. We bring spiritual essence to all that we experience, and then we share those stories with you. And I believe we all glean some wisdom and some goodness, and perhaps even some seeds get planted as a result. And we know how powerful words are, and so it's important to speak with intention, and to really allow yourself to have those moments of reflection, to look at how you are designing your life with your words. And so I'm happy to be here with you today. And just if those of you who do not know me, I am a therapeutic kinetic specialist and a life and lifestyle activation coach, as well as the creator of the Kinetic Life Revolution. And in the Kinetic Life Revolution, we help heart-centered seekers and leaders to align themselves with their essential nature through the release of undesired weight, whether that's on their external body or in their mental, emotional, spiritual bodies, so that they can move into a place of soulful power and really embrace the truth of who they are. I think this is the essence and the energy that elevates the world. And when one of us wins, we all win a little bit more. And so when we all heal a little bit more. And so today, I know that a lot of people are celebrating Father's Day and Juneteenth, and are kind of in a space of mixed emotions about all of it. I know how a tumultuous relationship with one's father can really manifest and create lots of interesting challenges for us to navigate, and we can create quite some expansive and interesting stories about the path that our relationship with our fathers takes. And I know that it was a journey to really see my father in a way that allowed my healing to take place and his healing to take place. Just giving people, forgiving them and giving them the room to be who they are is sometimes the greatest gift that we can give. And forgiveness is certainly one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves. And so I just want to offer on this day, and by the way, just some closure. So, at the end of my father's life, on the planet, right, before he transitioned into an expanded energetic form, and only he and the rest of God knows where he is now, and what form he takes now. However, I know that there was such peace and love at the end of our physical time together in this particular incarnation, that I know that all healing is possible. And I know that journey. And so this talk isn't about my story. I'll save that for another day. But I just want you to know that I know that the depths and the extent to which a relationship with dad can feel uprooting and disorienting, and then when you finally settle back into who you are and remember yourself, and you can see him for the truth of who he is or was and still is, then there is a possibility for a reconciliation in all ways. And so no matter where you are with that, and it's not going to look the same for everyone, but I believe that the possibilities for what's possible are infinite for everyone. And so there is no obstacle, I believe, that can't be unwound and found the center of and loved on and navigate it in a way that resonates in with your soul, and is and from that path of unraveling comes the becoming of you, comes nuggets and wisdom and relationships and and all kinds of experiences that you couldn't have had or wouldn't have had if anything, any one thing had been different, right? The butterfly effect, right? If any one thing had been different, who would you be? How would your life be? And so I just want to offer that I know that that navigating, times of the year when one would normally celebrate with someone that we don't necessarily, um, didn't have the kind of ideal or, the relationship that in our minds we thought or desired to have with them while they were in life, or, when we were in youth. um, I know that this time can be, challenging emotionally. So I just want to offer that there is peace available to you in every moment. And so, if there's a story that you're telling yourself, like, over and over again, or an image that you're maintaining that's bringing you down and bringing you, sadness, and then just know that you have the choice to pick a different picture, a different image. Allow yourself to feel fully the emotions that come up when you see the picture that you have, and tell the story that you tell, and then know also that you have the ability to shift at any moment to a different story, to a different picture, and or a different emotional state or perspective on that story or picture, to allow yourself to move into a space, of peace again, and one that allows you to have greater perspective and impact in your life in the moment that is now and now and now. um, so often I think, when we, um, have had a disruptive relationship with a parental figure, especially, a father, um, there can also be, a carried resentment that remains toward yourself, if your dad is not in the flesh any longer in this particular incarnation. And um, and so there are lots of would haves, could have, should haves, wishing that you had done something differently, and sometimes there can be shaming of self and resentment of self for mistakes that you perceive that you made, when you had opportunities to have different experiences. But just know that the same kind of compassion and love that you offer to others so willfully, which most of us do, when it comes to situations and circumstances such as these around the heart and around relationships and deep feeling, and impactful traumatic experiences from our past. Just know that you too deserve that same compassion. That who you were and the time that you had the thoughts and did the things and took the actions and spoke the words that you did, you were accessing the greatest and highest level of awareness and consciousness that you had access to at the time. You did the best with what you had at the time. And as you continue to evolve, perhaps you're able to look back and see other possibilities. And in that moment and in those moments, if you were able to, then the likelihood is that you would have done or said or felt or created some kind of experience that was different than the one that you had, right? So forgiveness and compassion, deep, unabiding compassion, you know, um, unrelenting compassion, the unconditional kind, the kind that allows you to know um, that you are loved and loved at your core, and the truth of us, and the truth is that only love exists. And so those thoughts that we trail off into, the mercurial ones that split off endlessly in our minds, something you could do, to kind of bring that back down so that you could, move more easily into a place of peace, would be to write it down, to journal. We pull those thoughts out of our minds and out of our heads, out of our brains, and we put them onto paper, we're able to then separate those thoughts from who we are, and see the event or the events or the person or ourselves from an observing perspective, which gives us a very different point of view and gives us space, right, where we can have different emotions than the ones that the initial thoughts brought up. Um, so if you're in that space, I just want to offer that you have the tool of journaling, writing it down, and if you need more support, reach out to someone. Maybe the next level of support might just be a good friend, someone who's a good listener, and one that can be a sounding board and be able to separate their agenda from and be a receiver and hold space for you to share and be heard. And if there is another level of support that you need, perhaps it's a more professional persuasion. Maybe you need a coach, someone who can help you navigate and shift the energy. And if there's a different kind of support you need, perhaps it's more cerebral. Maybe it's psychological kind of support. Um, uh, and there are many more expansive tools now that certain mental health professionals are using to support people in this way, moving out of the cognitive and into more of a whole self perspective. So it's very possible to find someone in those spaces that can help you navigate as well. Um, and if you already have a chain of support, that maybe you're just not utilizing, and maybe there's something coming up for you, a shame, thinking you've been past it. I should have been past it by now. Or maybe, you're thinking, there are endless possibilities, right? But maybe you're thinking, that to call them would somehow be a regression. Just know that there are ebbs and flows, and none of what we experience in this plane is linear. We are infinite beings having a finite experience in this incarnation, but everything is simultaneous. So there are multiple dimensions, and there are multiple possibilities, and things are happening, and nothing is linear. Everything goes and it doubles back, and it goes inside itself and outside itself, and what goes up comes down, and goes up and goes out, right? Goes out, comes in, goes up, goes down. So just know that you are able to change your mind. You are able to change your state, and there is never any shame in asking for help. It's actually a really brave and wise thing to do, to be aware that of what it is that you need, and to be willing and stand in your power enough to ask for it. So I feel complete with that, and I'll just say that you are more than enough. You are necessary to the unfoldment of the cosmos, and we await your genius. And let's both just take this moment to sink into our hearts and find the compassion for ourselves that allows us to have right perspective in this next moment as we make decisions from this point forth in our day. Namaste, and see you next week.